Hello, guys. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to one of the worst days as a Chelsea fan. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Chelsea have just lost this game to PSG at home by 3 goals, 3 goals to nothing. No reply goals, nothing. This game, I thought the lineup was okay, but it turns out it was nothing. It's not what we wanted. This is the worst day as a Chelsea fan. I don't even know what to say anymore about this game because honestly, as you can see, I don't know if I should be mad. At some point I started laughing because it was becoming ridiculous. Chelsea has never lost like this over two legs in a Champions League. Todd Bowley was right there, in the stadium, and even he could not stand it because this was totally and utterly rubbish performance by the Chelsea players. And I don't know, at some point it felt like we didn't even know what we were doing. So where do we go from here? Because obviously this is not what we expected of the game. I think every Chelsea fan knew that okay, we are not going to qualify for the next stage, which is the quarterfinals, but we expected a fight. The difference is we didn't come for the battle. We didn't come at all because honestly, we've been humiliated, we've been beaten, we've been walloped at home, and there's nothing to show for it, regardless of what anybody thinks. This was just this was just one of those games whereby you lose hope right after the first goal, which they scored a very very beautiful goal, by the way. And honestly, I don't know what we can do about this because for the first time ever, we are looking at a coach who I think he's starting to realize that it is beyond his depths. He cannot manage this. He cannot manage this football team, regardless of how good he was at Strasbourg. He just I don't think he can take us to the next level. And unfortunately, we cannot even go further because we have a set of players that I don't think a lot of them are good enough. The lineup was good. I don't know what it was supposed to be. However, we still, have the same defense line. No matter how we try to rotate the players in the defense line, no matter how we try to, mix and match, it's still going to be the same defensive team that we have. Nothing else. And today we've been outclassed, outthought, outran. The funny thing is, this is the same team that we beat last time we met. That was in the Club World Cup, 3 goals to zero. The same line, the same score line they use in beating us today. So honestly, I just don't know. I just don't know what we can do about this because it is becoming so depressing to be a Chelsea fan. Okay, it's becoming the worst feeling to support a club whereby you don't see the progress that you wish to see. And a lot of Chelsea fans, I believe, are going through an emotional period whereby they've just given up. They've just given up because it feels like the club is not listening to the fans. The club is not trying to understand the passion that the fans have for the team, for the club. They just keep on doing exactly what they want to do. They've taken a club that has been very, very successful for the past 20 years, turning it around, and they decided to turn it into something completely different that we don't even know about. So it's already, almost end of the season. I think the Chelsea fans understand that we can't start sacking the coach. I don't think they should, but obviously, I don't think he's going to be the one to take us through the next season. So I won't be surprised if after the end of the season, the coach is sacked, and then we go ahead with the same, cycle again, looking for a new coach and all that. But this is too bad, and I don't even know how I feel right now because obviously we've lost the game. We still have Champions League again to fight for. Six to the table in the Premier League, and we have three other teams. Three other teams that are fighting for the same spot. Well, four other teams are fighting for the same spot. And what that means is that now, today, we've seen Chelsea lose, we've seen Manchester City lose. So two English teams are out. That's going to make it almost impossible for Chelsea or English the Premier League to have five teams. So we have to fight for top four, and I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we can do that. I'm just deflated right now because this is not just shocking, but honestly, this is unbelievable, unbelievable. Okay. So let me look at the lineups. The lineups today, I expected him to make some changes because, of course, we know that certain players were not going to be available for this game, and you know, we know that certain players were not going to be available for this game, and Esteval, of course, is injured, so he's not going to be playing. Reece James got that knock. Malo Gusto down with some kind of illness. So the starting lineup was, let me see, Hato and Chaluba. Start with Hato and Chaluba right there in the center, and Sar and Cucurella completing that defensive line. So this is a completely new lineup in the defense, playing for the first time together. Cucurella, Hato, Chaloba, and Sar. Tell me why we will not be leaking goals like we did today. You had Achampong right there. You had Chaloba. You had Fofana. But instead, decided to use Cucurella, Hato, our two left backs that we have. And then upon that, you had Sar, who is playing the right back. First time I'm sure he's playing that position. And Chaluba, basically the only person who has been consistent in terms of the lineup. So tell me how this team and that defense line is going to not leak many goals. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. And obviously, we've lost by 3 goals to nothing. Now, Robert Sanchez was the keeper for today. Um, Robert Sanchez has shown us again why he prefers to kick the ball out because, of course, he gets nervous. Now, I'm going to go back to that game in the first leg where, credit to Johansson, he was passing the ball, trying to do what the coach wants him to do. He had some confidence until the last 15 minutes. But today, it was a complete different thing. Sanchez gets the ball. He wants to shoot it out long, shoot out the ball long. And we always lost the ball when he went there because, of course, the front three or the front four were not really doing anything. So today was one of the worst games Chelsea has ever played. If you thought that the game against Newcastle was bad, well, this was This was about the same thing. About the same thing. In the midfield, we had Caicedo and Santos. For some reason, I thought they didn't do a good job because they were losing the ball, making some errors. It was just nothing was working for Chelsea today. Nothing was working for Chelsea today. And in the attack, he had Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, and João Pedro. Now, I don't know what has happened to Cole Palmer, but for some, since before he got this injury, he's been really, really bad. He's been really, really bad. If you were speaking honestly, he's been bad. Now, there was a time when even an injured Cole Palmer was better than a lot of players, but this time around, he has been bad. And that's why I see João Pedro, he's not been getting the kind of feed that he needs. He's just, trying to do a lot of things on his own, pushing. But hey, overall, the team has been incredibly bad. And I think at this moment we are having some kind of reality check. I hope the owners can see what's going on. If they think that they can buy the club to come in and make money off of player sales, well, we've got a ban. Not only that, at the same time, now it's just not working. Whatever the system, whatever the plan they had is just not working. And this is terrible. Chelsea losing at home 3-0. And over the two legs play, we've lost an aggregate of 8 goals to 2. Just let that sink in. 8 goals to 2. That's a difference of 6 goal difference. We've not scored a goal in the last 2 games. And in the last 3 games, we've conceded 9 goals. Conceded 9 goals, and we've only scored 3 goals in our last 3 games. How can this club move forward? How can we do better? This is not good at all. I'm enraged, and I don't want to let that depress me. But honestly, how can a Chelsea fan, keep their heads up after watching this game, after watching this performance? Is really, really terrible. And I think, it's time the board or whoever the owner sit down and re-strategize whatever it is, because I know definitely they're not going to go out no matter how much we fans shout Bluco out, Bluco out. I don't. They're not going to leave this club. They bought it for a reason, and the reason is they just want to come in and make money. But obviously, the only thing for them to do right now is sit down, re-strategize, find out what errors they've been making in terms of recruitment, in terms of player sales, in terms of what they want to see going forward, because this is not it. This is not it. And now I'm even more worried because after losing 3 games in a row, that's it. After losing 3 games in a row, tell me, what is the motivation there for the players? How can they motivate it? Because you want to tell them they have to still fight for Champions League spot. They have to try and win the FA Cup. How can they be motivated after this? It's hard to come back from losing 3 goals to 0 at home. For the first time in a while, you see Chelsea fans walking out in the first half. That is just shambles. This is the worst feeling ever as a Chelsea fan. And I don't even know what to say. I think the owners have to find ways to address this. The coach needs to come up with something better. When he came in the club, it looked like, okay, we've been winning some games. Lose to Arsenal, that's understandable. Arsenal, the best team in the club, in the Premier League, best team in the world, but now it's starting to fall apart. He's been found out. The coach has been found out. We have very, very good players, okay, but the constant mixing and matching, and oh, this person can play, this can play for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, rotation, everything does not give us consistency, and it's just a big shame. It's a shame to, you know, the owners. It's a shame on the owners. Shame, the display for the past three games. This is completely different, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next, but obviously we are out of the Champions League, and uh, I don't know where we go from here. I don't know where we go from here. If you know, please let me know in the comments, because obviously it's it's just laughable at this moment. I'm just pissed off. I'm just pissed off. But well, we got to focus on trying to qualify for next Champions League. Now that is almost out of our hands, and we got to try and win something. The FA, we still have the FA Cup, but that's it. And by the way, if you've not subscribed to our channel, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button right now, and follow us for more videos and reviews and highlights. But honestly, this is one of the worst days ever. This is one of the worst days of my life, because this this was never expected. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Up the Chels.